Saigon was now encircled, and South Vietnamese troops could not move out more than 10 miles along any road. Beyond that, the communists were waiting. Saigon was about to fall. Soon the war would be over. American embassy officials promised an orderly evacuation for their own people, the foreign press, and for all those Vietnamese who had worked for them and might be in danger. The plan was for a helicopter evacuation from the embassy grounds, and the signal was Bing Crosby singing White Christmas over Radio Saigon. But somebody forgot to play it, and the embassy was stormed. The ambassador went on the final helicopter from the platform above his office. He was the last American to leave Vietnam.
This is a historic moment, the arrival of the North Vietnamese regular army in Saigon, right in the middle of Saigon, just after 12 o'clock.
My story begins after the last American helicopter has lifted off and the last Navy ship has left South Vietnam. The Vietnamese who were lucky enough to leave with those American vessels can only forecast the dark years to come for those of us left behind. My story is the lesser told chapter of American allies left behind, the persecution we endured, our perilous escape to freedom, and the resilience of our spirit. This is the chapter in between the last helicopter leaving the embassy and the Vietnamese refugees arriving at America's doorstep.
We got a signal that the American withdraw about 5-6 months before it happened, and then nobody knows what to do. We depend a lot on American. And then that time, I was young. I did not know what to do. 3 kids. I was fairly well financially. My husband was not with me. He was an officer far away from home.
Well, depending upon who you talk to, very different things. Of course, there are people who are very excited and feel the changes are very positive and feel that now they're going to have it. For example, ex-political prisoners who are now free for the first time in a very long while. We've met many of them, and they're very happy and very excited about what they consider a free government now. We've talked to other civilians who were very afraid at the time of the liberation of the city. They'd heard any number of rumors. They were afraid their fingernails would be pulled out.
That time, everybody tried to run where they think it's safe, but nowhere is safe. So the communists start to their action. They try to locate the rich, the famous, and the powerful. Those are the target first.
I heard my uncles and my grandmother whispering and talking about something about the country had been overturned. Of course, being a 4-year-old, you don't process much of that. But anyway, wake up one morning, there was a huge parade down essentially Main Street, and there were soldiers dressed in a color I've never seen before.
Vietnam actually went through 3 modern-day wars. The first is with the French, or called the First Indochina War. The second one is the Second Indochina War with the Vietnam and U.S. And the third was actually with China and Cambodia. And so a lot of folks didn't realize that that was still taking place. And so there was a lot of tension, and there was actually skirmishes and mini battles along the borders of North Vietnam and China, as well as along the borders of Cambodia, with the Khmer Rouge invading parts of South Vietnam. So what that meant for certain populations, in particular the Chinese Vietnamese that were living multi-generations in Vietnam and identified as Vietnamese or Vietnamese Chinese, were under great scrutiny. And so there was this, there was policy to see them as a fifth column, that is having connections or even supporting what was going on in China. And so while they were very strict about individuals escaping Vietnam as refugees. When it came to Chinese Vietnamese, they almost encouraged them to leave. They wanted to take over their lands, wanted to take over their properties, and did not want that element to remain in Vietnam.